You want to get wet, huh? You want to get wet, ain't it? You want to get wet, huh? That what it is? You want to get wet? I can tell you where you can get wet at.
Hold down, man. Suitcase this, my cell phone and my charger don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see you ass, you gon' leave airlifted.
What's up, everybody? You already know, man. Kfrogtv back in the building. Y'all go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. Today, we're going to be speaking on prison tattoos. Why? Because that's the #1 thing that over 90% of inmates are worried about when they're incarcerated. Due to the fact that it's cheap. It literally is cheap. Okay? And you come across some talented people while you're incarcerated. Some of the best artists I ever seen. They could tattoo a portrait like that and only charge you like a case of soups, which is only like $24, $25, depending on if you get the beef ones or the shrimp flavor. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm going to go ahead and speak to y'all on that today. All right? Let's get into it. Now, when it comes to doing the tattoos and stuff, it's something everyone is worried about. You'll find a small percentage of inmates that ain't worried about tattoos. Take it from me. You know, I got my whole chest piece. I got a whole sleeve, a half sleeve up here, my forearm, you know, my whole inner spot right here, all this and everything. My legs. Why? Because it's cheap. Now, even when I was in the juvenile program, people were worried about getting tattoos. People were using thumbtacks, wrapping nails string all the way around it real quick to where the tip of it sticks out so it looks like a pointy nail at the tip. And using pencil lead and damn shampoo. You feel what I'm saying? All the way in the juvenile program. Now, this when I was younger, people were worried about tattoos. And that's when I got my first tattoo, which was a pick and poke. Okay? Which all I did was get a D for Davey on my ankle. Which now it kind of looks like a triangle. You know? But when I was younger, it looked like a D. It was perfect. You feel me? Then, county jail, same thing. People are doing pick and pokes, making ink, you know. For some reason, getting tatted is just something a lot of people want to do. I got a couple pick and pokes in the county. Also went to confinement for it, for having fresh tattoos. You know what I'm saying? But when you get to prison, it's a totally different ball game. Them tattoos be worth it. You're going to see everybody walking around looking all up and shit because they just got tatted, you know? And to be real with you, getting tatted in prison, it hurts more than it does on the streets. Why? Because you got one thin needle doing all the work. Doing all the work over and over and over and over again. When on the streets, they got needles that got like 5 needles in it. You know what I'm saying? So, if you can make it through a prison tat, you're going to be able to make it through a street tat. Now, so many people get in trouble for tattoos in prison, get sent to confinement. If y'all seen my DR, when I did my video on my disciplinary reports, you'll see I've been there a couple times for tattoos. Now, it's one of them things to where it's like you're getting a good deal. So you want to just, you know, you want to do it. Plus, everybody wants to look cool when they first come home from prison. Look like, you know, they got tatted when they were in prison, you know, and shit like that. Because everyone I know that's been to prison, even people that I knew when I was younger, that I knew from school, that don't even live in my neighborhood, that I would just see around, that are in Broward County alone, did the same thing. Everyone gets tatted in prison. All right? Now, I said this before. I paid a case of soups for this whole sleeve right here. It ain't the best work, you know, but it's still, you know, it's still decent. You get what I'm saying? $25, you can't beat that, you know? Now, it ain't nothing to get it done and then come on the streets and get it touched up. Get someone on the streets to go over it and everything and get it to look real legit. But this is real soot. It's something about that soot, that the way the soot looks, that people can tell that's prison work, you know? And a lot of people want professional tattoos, which there ain't nothing wrong with that. You're going to pay 3 times more than you would in prison, obviously. And it's going to look real awesome. But you have some people that make their own prison ink, perfect ink, to where it would look awesome. Like the writing right here. Look at that writing. Look at that writing. Look. Ride with your fire or stay your ass home. And look at that. Look how perfectly that writing is. Just like promise. I have promise tatted right here. You see how perfect that promise is? You wouldn't even be able to tell that's prison ink compared to the other ink I have on me. See how trash this other prison ink looks? You know? But what I'm saying is you get an awesome deal, of course. And it kills time, believe it or not. Straight up. And it keeps you out of trouble. Instead of you investing your money in gambling or, you know, trying to cop something so you can sell it and get put on that platter, because people are going to try to rob eventually, you know. Or if they don't and you happen to make it through, people are going to try to shorten you, not pay you, you know, shit like that when you're hustling. So instead of doing all that, you know, you can invest your time in getting tatted, you know. I'll never forget when I got my first prison tat. My first prison tat was this right here, which is like a female clown. Okay, and that was free-handed. There was no, you know, nothing put on there for him to run the bloodline or anything like that. For those who don't know who the bloodline is, that means that they will, you know, they'll stencil it up, they'll put it on you, and then when they peel the paper off so it's stenciled on you, they're gonna run the needle without ink. Therefore, it'll lead just a bloodline. It's like they're drawing it on you, and then when they, you know what I'm saying? So that way, when they wipe, when they go to wiping it and everything like that, all the picture still stays there. You get what I'm saying? They can still see it once they go to wiping all the, you know what I'm saying? So when they do the ink, because if they draw it on you alone, when it's got ink on there and blood on there, and when they wipe it off so they can see next time, they're going to be smearing, you know, the drawing off if it isn't a bloodline. You feel me? But this was free-handed, you know, literally. Laid down in the back of the dorm on the floor. I had to lay down on the floor in between two bunk beds and get tatted with my headphones on. I put a pillow under my head and was laying there. The tattoo man was sitting on the floor right by me in between two bunk beds with the towels hanging up so the officers couldn't see back there. They could see down in between all the bunks, but back there they couldn't see past the towels. You see? And that's how I ended up getting this one. And this little piece right here, I literally only paid like $7 for it. You see, I had this piece before I got all this other stuff, you know. But like I was saying, tattoos is a way to kill time. You know what I'm saying? Now, some people get some dumbass tattoos, to be real with you. I seen some of the dumbest tattoos ever. I seen people with the damn handicap logo, the handicap, the little wheelchair looking thing right here. Boom. I seen them with the Chevy truck, like the Chevy logo right across their forehead. Boom. I seen them with the, like clowns have, the lines right here, the real big lines across both their things. Boom. Like just, you see some tattoos that are just like, damn, they fuck their whole face up. You know, or they get so much writing on them. Some dude I seen had a whole script right here. He had it, tried to make it look like it was a scroll with a script written on there. And you couldn't even tell what it is. It just looked like a square with writing. And you couldn't even read what the writing was. You feel me? Now, another dude I told one time that was the funniest tattoo I've ever seen was this one dude spent either $1,600 or $1,800, pure $100 bills. It's the first time I seen the blue face hundreds, the blue hundreds. He spent either 16 or 18, I'm not sure. But he got his whole ass tatted pure black. He was a white boy. And he did that just because his mom always talked down on him. She always talked shit to him. And he went to Vizzo and he dropped his pants and said, "Mom, kiss my black ass." That's what he did. Just like that. And he ended up going, you know, getting in trouble or whatever happened, and that was it. Like, but he spent that right there was like the funniest shit that I've ever seen someone getting. To see someone laying on their stomach over there getting tatted just to get soot, just filling my whole ass. I want my whole ass that color so that way I can tell my mom, kiss my black ass. Like to me, that was crazy. Like, I'm like, damn, like he snapped. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see so many people with good tattoos, dumb tattoos, funny tattoos, you know, all the above, okay? You'll see people that have awesome work, you know, like I ran across so many people that had their whole stomach and their whole back tatted, okay? This one dude I know, his back was the scenery of like a prison scene. It was like a prison scenery, and then it was an inmate in his uniform. It looked like he was riding a Harley, like on a bike, like leaving prison, but the Harley was a female. She was shaped like a bike, and her hair like her pigtails was the handlebars, like you know what I'm saying? And it was a female shaped into a bike, you know, like just raw ass work. Trust me, people have some raw ass shit. And then even if you're lucky, you'll come across real ink. Like me, when I was in there, I came across like 4 to 5 colors, real skin candy. That's how I got red. I had dropped the red. I got red on my arm and little spots too. You can't really see it. And then when you have stuff like that, that becomes a hustle also. Because with that real red ink I had red, white, green, and purple. Those were the 4 ones that I really had. Now, with that real ink, you could charge someone like $5 to $7 just for 2 drops of it. Straight up. And then they add water and they stretch it. So you're making money off having that real ink, you know. And then, you know, another way that they end up making ink, of course, you know, is with hair grease and, you know, shit like that. But believe it or not, I got a tattoo right here on my side. And my tattoo that I got on my side and this one right here on my forearm, matter of fact, I got done in confinement. And what they used to burn ink was sardine oil. You see? So there's always ways to make ink because people always want to get tatted. You have people in there that have no hustle other than knowing how to tattoo. Or they know how to draw, but they never tattooed before. So for them, all they got to do is spend $100, which is the common price for a motor. But you can get one for $50, $60, you know, like depending on, you know, wheel and deal. And then, boom, now they're power up. But what happens with a lot of tattoo men, though, is they start letting people pay them in advance. And then they can't, you know, cover. They can't find the time to do the tattooing. They end up spending the money that they were given, whether they get high or whether they want to eat or whatever it may be, and then they end up getting their ass flipped. That's the bad thing about a lot of tattoo men. You feel me? Because they try to tell everybody yes. They try to act like they're a yes man. Like, yeah. Pay me. And next thing you know, you can't get to him, can't get to him. And then it looks like you're trying to buck. It done been 3 weeks since they paid you and you ain't tatted them yet. Then you got people who don't want to wait in line. That'll come up and try to put down on the tattoo man to put them right now. Now the tattoo man's going in line to the person who they were supposed to tattoo, telling them I forgot this person was before you. Really, either they're scared and they're doing it because they were muscled to do it, or that other person said, look, man, you're saying 15 for the tattoo. I'll give you 25 right now. You start me in front of the line. So now they want that extra 10 up front right now that they're going to do it. And then after a while, people get tired of that getting pushed back, hearing all the different excuses. Man, I paid this man. I held my end of the bargain. Why he ain't hold his, you know? And then next thing you know, you see a lot of tattoo men in prison, in confinement, because their ass is wanted and either checked in or was forced to check in, and they got latched by everybody. You see? And that's what happens. You know? The tattoo man that I was dealing with, he literally would only have 5 people. One hand. He would have 5 in line. That's all he would deal with. That's it. He'd tell him straight up, nah, I only deal with 5 people at a time, man. Sorry. I only deal with 5 people at a time, man. Sorry. That's how he did it. And that was a smart way to do it, because you can make a lot of money like that, you know? Now, imagine getting a portrait tatted on the streets. How much it's going to charge to get an actual portrait. It's going to run you a couple $100, right? Couple hundo at least. And there, boom, $20, get a real portrait. Look awesome. Look identical to the photo that you show them. You give them a photo out of your photo album that's in your locker, and they're going to sit there, and they're going to look at that, and they're going to boom, boom, and they're going to draw it so raw on you, you know, but not everyone has colored ink. But with a portrait, you know, you just want it to look black and white, look real deal. And then, boom, you only spent $20, $25 tops for it. So everyone's going to want to get that, you know what I'm saying? My other homeboy on his back, he got all of his kids. He kept, every time he had to, every time on their birthday, he would drop their face. And before you know it, man, his whole back was like taken off. He started throwing his mom over here, his dad, his brothers, sisters, because he found a good tattoo man that charged cheap for portraits. When really, to be honest with you, all tattoo men are under, you know, they're underballed in when it comes to prison. You know, they're charging way less than they're actually worth. You know, they could be making so much more money. If you go to a work camp, they might charge you, instead of $25 for a sleeve or whatever, they might charge you $100. $110 for a half sleeve or a whole one. It all depends. Why? Because there's not that many inmates there at a work camp. So by there being a tattoo man, there's either that one only or there's another one, and they're going back and forth. So, you know what I'm saying? And then it ain't like on a compound where there's 12 people that tattoo. You know, so if this dude charges you too high, you can go to this guy. So everyone's lowballing, you know, just trying to get the job, just trying to get the deal. Oh, he charging you 20? All right, well, shit, I'll do it for 10 right now. You see, people try to steal each other's clientele. At the work camp, there might only be one tattoo man or two. You feel me? And then they're going to try to, you know, make it to where it's a high amount. If this guy's charging 110, when you come there, you're a tattoo man. You can't just say, oh, I got you for the 20. You feel me? Because that'll start conflict. You know what I'm saying? And then you're seeing this guy's getting 110 for a tattoo. You're going to want to be up there kind of somewhere where he is. You could be making hella money, you know, and that's what people end up doing. You feel me? And like I said, tattooing, you know, you're not supposed to get them in prison or incarcerated, obviously. But when you get tattoos, it kills time. It literally does. It gets your mind off things, you know, and something about it. For me, to be real with you, that little pain, that little burn mark, the little hurting it does, you know, I like it. It's like an addicting pain, you know. It's one of them things when you're laying there like, damn, why'd I start doing this shit? But then you're not going to stop until the tattoo's finished. You get what I'm saying? And there's been plenty of times when I had homeboys going to slide to do some dumb shit on the compound, and I'm laying there getting tatted. Like, all right, y'all boys, well, boy, if you need me, you know where I'm at. And then they go, next thing you know, they get caught doing some stupid shit. They're in confinement. And here I am still in the dorm getting tatted. And then I find out about it when the officers walk in and go to pack up their shit and take their stuff to their property to the box, you know? So, you know, tattooing can literally keep you out of the way of certain things. Just don't get no dumb tattoos. That's my message to y'all. Don't get no shit just to get it. You feel me? Because that's what a lot of people do. That's why I just explained some of the dumb tattoos some people got. You know, if you find someone that's good at tattooing, the main work that a lot of people would like to get is cheese work. When you get it filled in with cheese, you know, because a lot of people get the smoke fill in and stuff like that. But when they can make it look like cheese, like there's holes in your skin, like Swiss cheese, you know, that right there is, if you find someone that's good at that or someone that can do that, then that shows you they're one step higher than people who can't do that. Because a lot of other people just fill it in with like smoke or just shading or negative shade, you know, and stuff like that. So you find someone that knows what they're doing, you know, shit, take advantage of it. Lock them in. Tell them, look, boy, we locked. Boy, I got you. Boom. And then, you know, get some shit. Do what you got to do. You know, that's what it is. But number one, make sure every single thing that you are going to get, you want. And make sure it is meaningful. And also, before that, the real number one is make sure it's sanitary. Well, don't just let the dude just tat you up with anything. You got to make sure that needle wasn't used on someone else. If you got to make your own needle, you do it. You get you a spring out of a pen or a damn stapler or a bread tie or whatever you may, you know, wherever you're at where people are going to tell you what they use for needles and stuff. You'll be able to wheel and deal and get it. But just make sure it's sanitary, because that's the number one thing, boy. You don't want to get Hep C or anything like that through the tattoos, you know. But there ain't nothing wrong with them. And it depends on where you are, what they'll charge you with as a DR, you know. Like me, I only got tattooing DRs is what they gave me. And they actually gave me the tattooing DRs as if I was tattooing. It was tattooing self or others is what they gave me, you know. But depending on where you are, they can give you for, like, you know, messing up state property because you are ordered to the state. You know what I'm saying? So they could charge you with damage to state property because you were state property at that time. You feel me? Which is crazy to me. You know, like the shit that they'll come up with, because you do belong to them when they say, all right, 5 years to FSP, which is Florida State Prison. You know? But like I said, I don't have nothing against tattoos. I seen some cool ones, some awesome ones. The best tattoos I ever seen were on people in prison. Believe it or not. You ever opened up a cool ass magazine and the whole page was just covered in a bunch of raw shit? That's what some people be having on their sides, on their back. My homeboy, his whole back was the Joker. The Joker just going like this, flipping a coin. You know, like that. Another one I seen, dude had Chucky on one side and the bride of Chucky on the other side on his back. He had his whole spine. It looked like his skin was ripping off of his spine bone. And Chucky was on one side and the bride was on the other side. And they were both looking They were both looking at you, but they were ripping the spine, like the skin off the spine. Whole back done. Like you see the coolest things in prison, literally. And if you find something you like, whether it's in a magazine, whether you get the damn magazines ordered to come every month, and you see something cool looking, there's someone in there that can draw that for you. And then by them drawing that shit for you, if they don't do tattoos themselves, there's someone in there that will do tattoos. You feel me? That could be like, yeah, I could put that on you. Piece of cake. And they mean it. You feel me? But I seen a lot of people get messed up too because they did trash tattoos. You feel me? So it's not for everybody. Don't go in there and get yourself in something that you ain't got to get yourself in, because running a prison gun is totally different than running one on the streets anyways. You know what I'm saying? So if you were used to using a machine on the streets, you go in there, you got to get the feel of the prison machine first before you could just jump right in and get a whole list. And ain't no, oh, on the streets I was making, you know, $300 an hour, $300 a session. So you're not going to be able to hit no one over the head with no prices like that in prison. You feel me? Because then off rip, you're going to be put on like the crab list. Like, he's a crab. We don't fuck with him. You know, and then people are going to have it out for you. They're going to look at you like, all right, you think you're going to hit us over the head with these prices? Well, you ain't going to make no money in this dorm now. So, you know what I'm saying? You're going to want to just get your little bit of money, do what you do, you know, and next thing you know, you'll be straight, because a good tattoo man and someone whose prices aren't that high is always welcome from everyone. And if anyone does try to put down on them or try to rob them or try to fight them or try to anything like that, people are going to stand up for that dude just because he's a tattoo man. They're going to be like, oh man, you got my tattoo man fucked up. And that's what it is. You get what I'm saying? So it saves a lot of people. Like, that's why a lot of people who go to prison, majority white boys who don't know how to fight, who aren't living like that or anything, they just end up being a tattoo man so they don't have no problems. You feel me? You'll have problems at first, but then once they see how raw you are with tattoos, you'll see them same people who really didn't like you, or anyone who was like, you know, scoping you, that wanted to rob you or think you was just a regular white boy and shit, thinking about putting down on you. Once that's what made them draw their attention to you, and the next thing you know, they start playing cool with you and shit, and then they start seeing your artwork and they see that you're really raw. You won't even know them same people were planning to get you when you first met them, but now they're your friends, and you wouldn't even have known that from the get-go what brought them to you. You see? So that's why a lot of people who are white, you know, especially when they go to prison, they're tattoo men to avoid problems. You feel me? And that's real. That's literally what happens. You know what I'm saying? But I've seen white people check in, like tattoo men check in and boof their motor. Take the whole thing down, and the motor's like this big, wrap it in gloves and boof that shit and check in. So when they get to their next camp, at least they have their motor to take it out, boom, 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 put it together and start their hustling all over again. That's because that's their lifeline, is that motor. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not saying only white boys do tattoos. Because I had a homeboy at Calhoun, you feel me, named AJ. He was raw, and he was a black dude. You know what I'm saying? His whole body was tatted. He had his kneecaps tatted all the way to his toes. His whole body was tatted. Everything except for his face. He had a perfect line right here that went right here, sloop behind his ear, and on his head and everything. Just his face was the only thing that wasn't tatted. He was raw, though, and everyone knew he was raw. You feel me? He had been down like 12 years. Did like 2 bids before that, you know, so he was real raw with it, you know. You could tell when he was the one that did the tattooing too, because it was like, it looked better than anyone else on the compound at that time, you feel me? So it don't matter what race you are, if you know how to draw or you know how to make tattoos or anything like that, you're gonna make you some money, you feel me? And like I said, I ain't got nothing against tattoos. As you see, I got them myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not encouraging people to get tattoos, but I'm not telling people, don't get tattoos. Do not get tattooed. You don't want to get tattooed. Whatever you do, don't get tattooed. I'm not doing none of that. You feel me? I'm telling people, you know, that is a way to make your time go by and keep your ass out of trouble. You feel me? So that's what it is, man. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video on up. I appreciate y'all taking the time to watch. And like I said, man, easy way to kill some time and to stay out of shit. Get tatted. Get wet. Feel me? But anyways, man, y'all take it easy. Till next time, this Frog.